Okay. Welcome, everyone, to another episode of your favorite podcast, Create Your Joy, with your hosts, coaches Shruti Goel and Ivania Liang. And today we're excited to bring another song for you, which is called Never Gonna Give You Up. It was a popular song in the 1980s by Rick Astley, and I had never heard it before. So I'm really excited for Ivania to tell us a little bit more about how she heard the song and to help us dive into the lyrics. And for those of us that are joining us for the first time, our podcast, Create Your Joy, dives deeper into lyrics of songs that we find inspiring. And we talk about the lyrics in an effort to share both coaching techniques and ways in which we can have self-love reminders and continue to change our mindset for the better. So with that, I'm turning it over to you, Ivania.
Thank you so much, beautiful Shruti. Hi, beautiful community. Welcome back to another episode. And we're so grateful and honored to be here and doing this with all of you. And we're starting this year with this amazing song that I heard about it, a couple of years back, but actually I never paid attention to it. And then last year it became kind of famous again around the young people, younger than us. And then even my 10-year-old daughter, she sings it in the car and she's like, oh, mommy, this is such a great song. And I started to look into it, and it has a nice rhythm. And of course, when it says, I'm never going to give you up, it's like, wow, it is, it's actually, it's like a love song. But I want us to look into the lyrics on how we able to remind ourselves. You just said it, Shruti, remind ourselves of how to love ourselves. And it's such a beautiful thing because that's create our joy, I'm sorry, our Joe, sorry, I don't know, can't pronounce it today. Anyways, but I am so excited to jump into the lyrics. So I'm going to start where it says, we're no strangers to love. You know the rules, and so do I. Do I? A full commitments. What am I thinking of? You wouldn't get this from another guy. I just gonna tell you how I'm feeling. Gotta make you understand. And you know what? This is beautiful in a sense, a reminder that we have to make that commitment to ourselves, that we never should give up in ourselves. We never should give up in our careers, in our personal journey. It's always something that we have to move forward, evolved. And then it says, we're not strangers to love. I want to bring it back to that, that conversation that we have with ourselves, with that wise voice, and then the lower self, which is, the criticism, the judgment from all over our environment. And then we understand that the higher self, all you want is to protect us.
Yeah.
And that's it is just pure love. So we had to tune to that wise voice because it's actually love. It says, you know the rules, and so do I. I want to look at these words. It says, you know the rules. That means that we have to have some kind of a practice so we can listen. And also it could be like a gut, like we usually do that most of the time. We have to pay attention in what a gut is telling us.
Yeah.
And also, one of the practice that I like to do, and then for our clients also, like to have some kind of practice where they're alone, so they can hear themselves, so they can have the dialogue without judgment. And there's a full commitment, what I'm thinking of. And when it says commitment, that's what I say about the commitment with ourselves, because that's the only relationship that we actually have power on. And that's actually the only relationship that we started with ourselves, and then we end up with ourselves, meaning that when we pass, that's the relationship that's always going to be there. It's not going to go anywhere. So that's the one. And said, you wouldn't get this from another guy. When it says this, I think also, of course, I know the lyrics is talking about the guy that, I'm pretty sure the guy loves that person, but I'm saying like, that relationship that we can give it to ourselves, no one can give it to us. Like
Yeah.
our happiness is our responsibility. And that's the commitment that we have to commit ourselves to be happy ourselves first. So when we come in with someone, we amplify that love that take us really, really high. And I just gonna tell you how I'm feeling. I gotta make you understand. And this, I like it because I wanna tell you how I'm feeling. I think like also the lower self has to be able to express and feel those emotions, those thoughts, to be able to verbalize it so we can understand it, so we can, it says, so we can, yeah, so we can understand it. So I'm taking it from that end. What do you think, Shruti?
Yeah, I really love that, Ivania. The self-love angle that you've brought in really turns this song from something on the surface, which is just a love song, to, I think, a powerful affirmation for ourselves, to remind ourselves. I especially loved how you talked about the line, "You wouldn't get this from any other guy."
Mhm.
Yes, the relationship that we have with ourselves, that we nurture with ourselves, you can't get that from any other person in the world, because only you deep inside know everything that you have gone through in life. Even our closest partners
Yeah.
and relatives and parents don't know of every single moment and how their actions have deeply impacted us.
Yes.
So I'm really touched that you're sharing your perspective in this way. And I want to keep going to the next part of the song, which is the chorus. And for people who have tuned in and listened to our episodes before, you know how much we emphasize how important the choruses are, because they read like affirmations. They are the words that get repeated oftentimes in the song because they are the most powerful words in the song. And so this song has really powerful words here too. Never gonna give you up, never gonna let you down, never gonna run around and desert you, never gonna make you cry, never gonna say goodbye, never gonna tell a lie and hurt you. And when I read this chorus, it actually, so I'm a self-love coach, and for me, it speaks directly to my inner wisdom, but also to my inner child. And I feel as though these words are designed to bring that sort of calm and comfort to our nervous system, to let us know that we're safe. And so I think for that reason alone, I would listen to this song, because that's a valuable reminder to myself. And of course, if you're lucky enough to have a partner in your life that makes these promises and lives up to these promises, that is even better. But even in a relationship, I would argue that you still have to do this part of the work for yourself. You do always in life, no matter how other people around you are securing you, you have to be able to say that you can do these things for yourself, not give up. I mean, we had to be very resourceful to make this episode happen.
Oh, yeah.
So I'm proud of us for not giving up, not gonna let you down. And that can mean different things. But one of the things that comes to my mind is never gonna let you down. To me, means that you're not going to, kind of leave yourself feeling ashamed of something you've done.
Oh, yes.
Because when we sit in shame, uh, it just kind of saps our energy. So it's okay to experience, the impact of a mistake you've made, but pay the price only once. Don't continue to sit in the shame. And so never going to let you down means you look at that mistake and you extract the lesson. And then never going to run around and desert you. This is huge for many of us. Our inner childs often run around feeling the fear that comes with feeling like someone they love is going to leave them.
Yeah.
But often we're the ones who are abandoning ourselves, our basic needs. We want to sacrifice our needs to please someone else in the hopes that they don't leave us.
Oh my God, yes. That's
And
a
that particular line hits very deep, in my heart. And then never gonna make you cry. I think this one I'm just interpreting as an adult that's growing. I've found that actually crying is a very healing process. It's part of the process for my body to release emotion positively. But I think in this instance, I'm interpreting it to mean that never gonna, criticize you on the inside. So this part to me speaks to the inner critic. Never gonna beat you up with my words so badly that you cry these tears where you feel like you don't matter or you're not worthy. And then the same thing, never gonna say goodbye, even when every other person in your life has left for one reason or another. You are going to be your own best friend or worst enemy until the moment you pass away. So I just wanted to kind of reflect on that. And finally, never going to tell a lie and hurt you. And I think one of the most painful things that we as human beings do to ourselves is when we are faced with a reality that we would rather deny than accept. And as long as that denial lasts, we are not able to move forward because we are not dealing with the truth. We are much better, we're thinking we're better off by being comforted by the lie. And yet that hurts us on a level, both subconsciously and consciously.
Yeah.
So to make that promise to yourself that at least I'm not going to lie to myself internally. If something isn't good, I'll acknowledge it. I may not verbalize it out loud to anyone, but I will know in my heart of hearts. If you're stuck in a bad job right now, you can at least acknowledge it to yourself. If you're stuck in an abusive relationship, you can acknowledge the truth to yourself. If you're feeling hurt by something, you can acknowledge it to yourself. So that's my take on the verse here, on the chorus. And I also wanted to go ahead and actually go into the next verse. And then Ivania, I'd love to hear how you interpreted this as well. So it says, we've known each other for so long. Your heart's been aching, but you're too shy to say it. Inside, we both know what's been going on. We know the game and we're going to play it. And if you ask me how I'm feeling, don't tell me you're too blind to see.
Oh my God, I love it.
And so I want to look at this verse, of course, in the two levels. The first level is just, beautiful as part of this love song, that, this person feels so comfortable to one another, the partners, and the other person is recognizing that they have strong feelings and they've been aching to say it, but maybe a little shy. And inside we know. So there's this invisible game that has been played out, which is they know what's going on, but they're not quite saying it. And if you ask me how I'm feeling, the other person says, I know you're not so blind that you can't see how much I'm in love with you. Yet, if we look at it at the deeper level from the standpoint of self-love, it's true. We have known each other so long. We have known our inner wise self for so long. And yet, because of the noise in our outside world, we may be aching to tell ourselves that we love ourselves. We find ourselves worthy. We find ourselves genius, magnificent, whatever the beautiful words are,
Yes.
the compliments that we want to give someone else. And yet we ache to say it to ourselves.
Yes.
We're too shy. In fact, so many of us have an experience, especially as women, when we're told to look in the mirror and tell ourselves that I love you.
Yes.
That many of us, especially women, will cry and break down because they can't imagine the truth of those words, enveloping them. Inside, we both know what's been going on, right? All the work that you've done, but you've been waiting to hear that validation from the outside rather than give yourself the nectar of your own compliment. We know the game and we're going to play it. And how I'm interpreting that is we've kind of been playing this worldly game where we hold back our admiration for ourselves, even just privately. And instead, we wait for someone in the world to give us a stamp of approval, you know? But it's almost like in this instance, our self-love is crying out, you know,
Yes.
let me tell you all the magnificent things that you have done. Ask me how I'm feeling, and don't feel so blinded to the good things and overly focused on the bad things. So that's how I'm interpreting that, and it's just lovely. And I want to turn it back to you to see what do you think about the chorus and this
Wow.
verse.
This is I love this song really, really a lot. And I like what he's saying. And I think also when we take a spin on it and
Yeah,
have a different it's like having a bird's eye view. Like don't just look
yeah,
to just a love song. It could be like so much more.
yeah,
And I'm gonna hold back a little bit on the chorus because I can do it right after. But I
yes,
really want to talk about the verse where it said, we known each other for so long, your heart's been aching, but you're too shy to say it. You know, here I also look, I want to bring it to also all the time. This is what I'm going to talk about because we never stop having that relationship with ourselves and that communication and that
yeah,
I want to build or create with ourselves. And then when he says we know each other for so long, is because when we are born, we're together, the higher self and the lower self. Like it's more, in my opinion, like when we are born, we are more with the higher self. Our higher self is more in tune to us because we haven't been conditioned to our environment, or we haven't been conditioned, or our parents, our teachers, our friends, our environment, community. So we haven't been exposed enough. So I think we are a lot more pure. And that's the wise self. I think that's why I said we know each other for such a long time. And said your heart has been aching. So we know when it hurts. We know when you're suffering. We know when you're in pain. And I said, but you're too shy to say it. And I think we started to become a little bit more shy when we start growing up because now we started to be conditioned that if you cry right away, don't cry. Why are you crying?
yeah,
Instead, but it's okay because it's okay in a sense that the parents didn't know. So they did what they had to do. But now as grown-ups, now these days, we have so much information. We have so many life coaches. We have a lot of access that we can have to understand, not blaming the parents, not blaming yourself, but reconnect this beautiful conversation and to include a wise voice that has always been there and not being too shy or verbalize. And of course, it takes work, but it's doable.
yeah,
And then it says inside, we both know what's been going on. Like we really know what's happening all the time.
yeah,
All the time, that's for sure we know. But we're not allowed to admit it.
yeah,
We're not allowed to express ourselves. We're not
exactly.
allowed to even think about it. But of course, deep inside, we're feeling it, we're thinking about it, but we don't have the courage because of our environment or what people are going to think, or it's all this conditioning that we don't know where it's coming from. And that's a life coach like you and I, we have those services so we can be able to explore with them and be able to have a safe space so they can have a space just to reflect on those things. And also, it says, we know the game and we are going to play it.
Yeah,
When it says this to me, it's like we know the games of life. We know how people are conditioned because we started to notice now in the process of noticing, oh, okay, that person wants to play a game. I don't want to play that game because I know how is the game.
yeah,
It's more, let's bring it into the higher self and the lower self to have a communication where we can become our own friend, where we can rely on each other, when we don't have to, get validation from outside. And it says, and if you ask me how I'm feeling, don't tell me you're too blind to see it. And that's the thing, since, like I said earlier, a little bit earlier ago, is that we know what's happening in us,
Yeah.
but we just don't want to say it because
Yeah.
we feel blame, shame, not worthy.
Yeah.
We have all these things. So, but having that internal conversation, it will strengthen you little by little. And that's why I love those songs, because
Yeah.
it says, I am sure the artist and the writers of all the songs, they have a lot more that they have experienced, and they want to put it there for us to interpret that
Yeah.
way, the way you can, or wherever, wherever stage you're at. And that's what I look at, because we can go back and I go, oh, back then I thought about this, this, and that. Oh, I didn't think of that. Oh, I was doing this. Oh, yeah. So we start to resonate more with the songs. And I'm
Yeah.
gonna jump in. Do you want to say anything of what I say, or should just jumping into the verse?
I just wanted to pause for a moment and add one thing, which was that as you are saying this, I find this to be a beautiful thing about art and especially music, is that even if it was created with an intention, it has a fluidity to it that it can be interpreted in many different ways. And so I just wanted to share that, you know, uh, in a sense, we become enriched by sharing different perspectives.
Yes.
So even though the written word is the same,
Yes.
it helps us to be able to see the same words and acknowledge and respect the different ways of interpreting it without making any one interpretation wrong.
Yes.
And I
Yes.
think that's the real beauty of both life coaching and life, it's about expanding our horizons. So I just wanted to mention that here, that music has that unique quality. And why songs? We talk about songs because songs are so memorable. There are songs that I remember and still sing when times are tough for me. And so they have this power basically to help you recall
Yes.
what, maybe memorizing just sentences would not work. But when they're in song form, we remember them and there's musicality to it. There's joy that you can
Okay.
create from that. So I just wanted to share that.
Oh, and then you're so right about that. And you know what? I just wanted to say a little bit more before I go into it, because when you have, it's like when you sing, it's like everything is involved.
Yeah.
Your five senses are involved. So it's
Yes.
actually you tuning in into this, like you call this, um, um, songs that are so wise, and you just start to resonate, and it makes such an impact in us because we are so into it. It's like
Yeah.
when you're meditating, it's just
Beautiful.
so strong because all your senses are there,
Yeah.
you know, and and it's like a mantra. We repeated it and we repeated affirmation. You're reaffirming and affirming.
Yeah.
And at the same time, when you listen to these lyrics, and like now that we're talking, is that your awareness becomes higher. Like your awareness starts to
Exactly.
increase.
Yeah.
That's why it makes it good listening to songs, because we start to learn something.
Yeah.
And that's the beauty of it, because it's also going to our subconscious and we're repeating
Yeah.
it, and it's giving us the strength to move forward.
Exactly.
Yes,
Well said.
thank you. And then when it says, I'm gonna go into the chorus. It says, never gonna give you up. And that's the thing, that our soul, which I think we are souls, is never going anywhere. This is
Yeah.
us. That's us. So that's why it's never gonna give us up. It's
Yeah.
more like this body is gonna stay here in this earth. It says, I'm
Mm.
never gonna let you down. Our higher self is always there to lift us up when we're down.
Yeah.
It's not, it's just there for us. It
Mm.
says, never gonna run around and desert you. That the soul doesn't need anything. It just is. It's just a lower self, our conditioning mind that has to align to our soul to
Yes.
create
Well
your
said.
life. And it says, never gonna make you cry. I think
Mm.
when it says here, we cry because there's many reasons, but one of the cry, when we release our cry, like you mentioned, that it's good to cry, it's because we're releasing the shame, the
Mhm.
energy while we're holding it. We're releasing the pain, we're releasing the suffering, we're releasing that we're not good enough, we're releasing all those negativities that is being killing us.
Yeah.
And that cry washes that over.
Yeah.
And that's what I like, that I'm never gonna say goodbye. We're never
Yeah.
saying goodbye to our higher self. That's
Yeah.
us.
Yeah.
What we're saying goodbye is that things that doesn't benefit us in any way, in having building and build boundaries,
Yeah.
build respect for yourself. Because when somebody is looking at you working in yourself and you building boundaries and respecting yourself, guess what? They're doing the same thing.
Mhm.
And that's why when you become with a partner or with friends or whoever, you're giving the same respect that you're giving to yourself.
Yeah.
And then that's how we become one. Because I
Mm.
matter and you matter. What you
Right.
feeling matter and what I'm feeling matter.
Yes.
So it says, I'm never gonna tell a lie and hurt you. Never gonna give you up. I'm never gonna let you down. And the lie and the hurt, you know, of course we do it because we just haven't found the right way yet. But in that process, we're learning. We're always constantly learning. And
Mm.
the more practice we do, the better we become at it. That doesn't mean that we're never gonna be hurt. Yes, we're all gonna be hurt because that's how we grow. Because we don't
Yeah.
want to stay stagnated in one place.
Right.
And I guess it continue again with the same, so never gonna give you up and all that stuff. But that when it's repeated and repeated, it's like when you saying it to yourself, like when you go to the mirror, said, like you mentioned, Shudita, you go to the mirror, you say, I love you. For me,
Yeah.
it took me more than a week to look at them to my eyes and say, I love you and
Yeah.
I forgive you.
Yeah.
I cry. I mentioned this, I don't know what episode, but I mentioned that I cried. I couldn't say it
Yeah.
because all the shame and the guilt, and the thing is people make you feel that way, but you have a choice to
Exactly.
change that. It's not them, you. And I feel like we're doing this work for a quite some time, you and I, that it becomes a little bit easier all
Yeah.
the time. It's not that
Yeah.
we already never gonna hurt ourselves, we're never gonna cry, or we're never gonna feel hurt. But I think with the right tools, with the right techniques, then we're able to come out of it and say, oh no, I think it's
Yeah.
okay. It's me. Let me change this. Let me build boundaries. Let me express myself. Let me be me. Right? So I got so passionate because I really want to start this year knowing you guys. I want you guys know that you are it, that you are the one that can create. And at
Mm.
the same time, because we are creators, you can remove things
Yeah.
that doesn't belong to you. Sorry, Shruti, I got so passionate about it.
Oh, I love it. I love it when you get passionate, Ivania, because there is wisdom here. And I was going to say again, one of the benefits of tuning into this podcast is that you're also, kind of getting the crystallized wisdom of our life experiences. We are both, we have had our careers, we have studied different materials, and with our backgrounds, it gives us a different, um, viewpoint, and we're just here to share that viewpoint. And I hope that if you like what we're sharing, that you're able to subscribe and join in, and also share your suggestions. What are songs? A few of you have mentioned a song to us that we have then featured in the podcast, and we would love to continue hearing those suggestions. um, to find more songs. This is one of the beautiful things about the work that we do, is that there are so many beautiful songs out there just waiting to be discovered. And I'm so grateful for this one, Ivania, that you brought it to my attention. And it's just a matter of perspective. Now when I listen to this song, I'll enjoy both the words that are on the surface, but I'll know a secret. I'll know the secret that lies within the lyrics because we
Yes.
have talked about it. And with that, I just wanted to say that this is a really powerful song. I hope you'll give it a listen on any of your favorite music programs out there or websites, and that you'll take time to find the lyrics if you want to follow along with the podcast. And if it's okay with you, Ivania, I would love to bring our podcast for today to a close. I think it is a powerful song, and your analysis at the end was absolutely a call to action for each of us to go deep within to find our truth and to come face to face with our own magnificence.
Yeah, thank you so much. And thank you so much for all of you tuning in. And like my beautiful Shruti said, if you like it, please like and subscribe. And please let us know what song you want us to talk about.
Yes.
And like this song says, never give up on yourself.
Yes.
Never, 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 never. And see you next time.
You got it. Bye, everybody.
And I wanted to say, always be creating. I love to say that because we're creators. So always be creating your life. Always. You have the power. Okay.
Yes.
That. Okay. Bye.
Bye.